Study with Artemis, Inc. podcast. This information was produced with the assistance of AI-generated content. How sound influences thought patterns. This exploration delves into the intricate mechanisms by which auditory stimuli shape human cognition and emotional states. While modern neuroscience uncovers the physiological pathways, it is compelling to consider how these scientific insights resonate with ancient and mystical traditions that have long recognized sound's profound influence on consciousness. The interaction between sound and human physiology commences with the transduction of sound waves into neural signals. This rapid transmission through the auditory nerve leads to activation in diverse brain regions, including the auditory cortex for processing, the limbic system for emotional regulation, and areas integral to memory formation and decision-making. A sudden, high-decibel auditory event, for instance, elicits an immediate startle response, a fundamental survival mechanism. This is not merely a physical reaction but a swift cognitive reorientation, diverting attention from current focus to immediate threat assessment. Such phenomena underscore sound's direct and potent access to core cognitive processes. Research insight. Studies in neuroacoustics have consistently demonstrated that sudden, intense auditory stimuli can trigger rapid activation of the amygdala, a key structure in the limbic system responsible for processing emotions, particularly fear. This activation leads to an instantaneous release of stress hormones, such as cortisol, which in turn narrows attentional focus and prioritizes immediate danger assessment over complex problem-solving. This fight-or-flight mechanism, as detailed by researchers like Joseph Ledoux in his work on emotional circuits, profoundly alters our cognitive landscape, shifting us from a state of open awareness to one of hypervigilance. This immediate, involuntary response represents a foundational layer of sound's influence. Beyond mere survival, sound meticulously modulates attention, memory, and emotional states, all of which are indispensable components of thought. The influence of sound on thought is perhaps most overtly manifested through music. The capacity of a melancholic melody to evoke sadness or an upbeat rhythm to energize is universally acknowledged. However, the impact extends beyond superficial mood alteration. Research insight. While the initial sensational claims regarding classical music's direct enhancement of IQ, often referred to as the Mozart effect, were largely unsubstantiated or overstated by subsequent research, rigorous studies have indicated that engagement with music, particularly instrumental compositions, can indeed optimize specific cognitive tasks. For example, research published in Nature Neuroscience by Salimpour et al., 2011, demonstrated that listening to music, particularly at peak emotional moments, triggers the release of dopamine in the brain's reward system. This induced positive emotional state can significantly reduce cognitive load, thereby facilitating enhanced concentration on concurrent tasks. Furthermore, the inherent structured patterns within musical compositions can prime the brain for pattern recognition, subtly refining analytical thinking. Conversely, music characterized by complex lyrical content or erratic rhythmic structures can compete for cognitive resources, leading to distraction and diminished focus on external tasks. The widespread practice of utilizing instrumental music for study or work exemplifies this principle. The absence of lyrical content prevents the brain from expending resources on verbal processing, allowing the musical structure to provide a non-distracting backdrop that can actively aid concentration by masking environmental sounds and establishing a consistent auditory milieu. This resonance with underlying universal patterns, often explored in mystical traditions as harmony of the spheres, or the vibrational nature of reality, suggests a deeper connection between musical structure and cognitive alignment. Beyond formally structured music, the ambient sounds of our environment exert a significant influence. Urban soundscapes, natural soundscapes, and even the pervasive hum of mechanical systems can profoundly alter mental states and, consequently, thought processes. Research insight. The attention restoration theory ART, developed by Stephen and Rachel Kaplan, posits that exposure to natural sounds, such as birdsong, the flow of water, or rustling foliage, can restore directed attention, which is often depleted by the demands of urban existence. The gentle, non-threatening, and often unpredictable patterns inherent in nature sounds permit the mind to engage in a state of soft fascination, mitigating mental fatigue and enhancing cognitive performance. This concept aligns with mystical practices that emphasize grounding and finding peace in natural environments to achieve heightened states of awareness. Conversely, chronic exposure to urban noise, encompassing traffic, construction, and incessant chatter, is empirically linked to elevated stress levels, increased heart rates, and a measurable decrement in cognitive functions such as memory and problem-solving. Studies, including those on the effects of environmental noise on children's cognitive development, demonstrate that the brain expends substantial energy attempting to filter out irrelevant auditory information, leading to what is termed cognitive fatigue. This continuous mental exertion depletes resources necessary for complex thought, resulting in reduced creativity and an increased susceptibility to errors. This explains why environments characterized by tranquility, such as libraries or serene parks, are conducive to deep contemplation, whereas a bustling open-plan office can foster distraction. The auditory environment directly impacts the capacity to sustain attention and engage in higher-order thinking. Recent years have witnessed a growing interest in the application of specific noise types, such as white noise and pink noise, to enhance focus. Research insight: white noise, defined by its uniform distribution of all audible frequencies at equal intensity, and pink noise, which possesses a deeper, more natural spectral balance, operate through the principle of auditory masking. They effectively obscure sudden, distracting noises by establishing a consistent, unobtrusive background sound. Research, such as that by Soderlund et al., 2007, on children with ADHD, suggests that a consistent background sound like white or pink noise can create a more predictable auditory landscape. This diminishes the brain's effort in processing sudden, salient sounds, thereby liberating cognitive resources. Its primary function is not to boost cognitive function per se, but rather to mitigate obstacles to it, enabling sustained concentration and more coherent thought processes by minimizing external interruptions. This mechanism elucidates why these specific sound profiles are often found beneficial for academic pursuits, sleep induction, or simply for blocking out unpredictable ambient sounds to achieve a state of deeper concentration. From the primal neurological response to an abrupt sound to the nuanced embrace of a cherished melody, sound serves as a constant, often imperceptible, architect of our thoughts. It possesses the capacity to elevate mood, sharpen focus, or precipitate distraction and stress. A comprehensive understanding of this profound connection empowers individuals to exercise greater intentionality regarding their auditory environment. Whether it involves selecting appropriate musical accompaniment for creative endeavors, seeking the restorative tranquility of natural soundscapes, or employing masking sounds to optimize concentration, recognizing sound's pervasive influence enables the deliberate curation of our sonic world for enhanced cognitive function and overall well-being. The scientific insights into how sound impacts our brains, from altering brainwave states to influencing neurotransmitter release, provide empirical validation for what many ancient and mystical traditions have long understood intuitively. Practices involving chanting, sacred music, binaural beats, and meditative soundscapes, found across diverse cultures and spiritual paths, were often designed to induce altered states of consciousness, promote healing, or facilitate spiritual insight. These traditions recognized sound not merely as a physical phenomenon, but as a vibrational force capable of profoundly affecting the human energy field and consciousness. Modern neuroacoustics, by demonstrating sound's capacity to modulate attention, emotion, and cognitive processing, offers a scientific framework for understanding the efficacy of these age-old practices. The convergence of scientific discovery and mystical wisdom suggests a universal truth. Sound is a fundamental force in shaping our inner and outer realities. Therefore, the next time you find yourself immersed in deep contemplation, or struggling to maintain focus, pause and attune to your auditory surroundings. Consider how the sounds enveloping you might be shaping the very thoughts you are experiencing. Copyright 2025. References: Kaplan, S. and Kaplan, R. 1989. The Experience of Nature: A Psychological Perspective. Cambridge University Press. Referenced for Attention Restoration Theory. Ledoux, J. E. 1996. The Emotional Brain: The Mysterious Underpinnings of Emotional Life. Simon & Schuster. referenced for emotional circuits and amygdala function. Salimpur, V. N. et al., 2011. Anatomically distinct dopamine release during anticipation and experience of peak emotion to music. Nature Neuroscience, 14, 257-262. Referenced for music and dopamine release. Soderlund, G. B. W. et al., 2007. The effects of background white noise on attention in children with ADHD. Behavioral and brain functions. 3, 1, 55. Referenced for white noise and ADHD.